Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about translating quadratics and absolute value functions again. Let's start by reviewing. So we've got absolute value, and then we've got our quadratics. And I'm sorry about the handwriting. I fractured my finger. Okay. So first thing, absolute value in quadratics, the parent. I'll do it for both. Alright, so the parent function is super important. You need to make sure you know the parent for both absolute value and quadratics. Remember, it is the simplest equation for each. So the simplest absolute value equation is just y equals the absolute value of x. And the quadratic parent is y equals x squared. Make sure you also know how to graph these. Okay, so that's the most simple equation, the parent. Vertex form. This is the generalized equation we learned yesterday. They're extremely similar to one another. So absolute value is y equals the absolute value of x minus h, close your absolute value, and then plus k. Whereas a quadratic is y equals parentheses x minus h squared plus k. Sorry if all the sniffling is annoying, guys. Okay, so they look really similar, and that's because they are very similar. The only difference is a quadratic is a parabola, so it's got the U-shaped, right? It's round. And then the absolute value is a V. So that's why the equations look different, but they're affected the exact same way. So, remember, if you have a plus h, that's going to translate left. You have to be careful with your h's because it's a little confusing. So the h's are going to go opposite of what you think. So even though it's positive, you might think right, because it's h, it's going to be going the opposite way. So positive h is going to go left, minus h is going to go right. Make sure you use the vocab word translate. If you don't use the vocab word, you will lose half a point on your quiz. Okay, so that's h. Now k does the same thing for both functions. If we have a positive k, it's just like you would think, and that's going to translate up. So the number on the outside affects the y values. You translate up if it's positive, and if it's minus k, you're translating down. So the equations for both are really similar, and they're affected the same way. The graphs just look different. Absolute value is a V, whereas a quadratic is the parabola or a U. The h values in the inside the absolute value or inside your parentheses is going to translate horizontally. So think h horizontal, and it's affecting the x values. Positive goes left, negative goes right. Numbers on the outside, your k values, translate up or translate down. So we're going to do 3 different kinds of examples today. First example is just describing the transformations. So I could give you an example like this, where I say y equals x plus 36 squared minus 40. And you just have to describe the transformations. These are usually going to be worth 1 or 2 points. And 1 point is using the important vocab, and that's translate. So we need to write that we're translating. And then how are we translating it? Well, we have plus 36. That's affecting the x values, and it's plus. So that means we're going to translate left 36, and because there's a number on the outside, we're going to go down 40. And that's it. Again, can't emphasize this enough, guys. If you don't write translate, you will lose a point or half a point. Okay, let's do another example. Y equals the absolute value of x minus 5 plus 13. So why don't you try to do this with your group and pause the video. Alright, hopefully you got the first word. We are translating. It's minus 5, so we're going right 5 and up 13. So minus 5 goes right 5, and then the plus 13 is bringing it up 13. All right, one more example. Alright, so when we get problems like this, it really messes up students because the 6 is on the left, but it's the exact same thing, so it's still being translated. And the inside, the negative 2, is going to tell us that we're going right 2. And this negative 6 is telling us that we're going down 6. Oops. And we know that because it's being added, so negative 6 plus the absolute value. If it's multiplying, then that's going to be something different, which we'll learn about later this week. Wait, what's today? Today's Friday. No, you'll be learning it after break, after your quiz too. All right, let's do another kind of example. Write the equation. So here I give you a description and you need to write the equation. So, an absolute value function, okay, so immediately you should be thinking y equals the absolute value of x, because that's the parent. That has been translated right 7. So if we're going right, then that means it's inside, because that affects the horizontal. If we're going right 7, then we are going to inside right minus 7 and up 12. So that's on the outside plus 12. And that is it. So absolute value function, check. It's been translated right 7, so it's going to be minus 7, and up 12. So plus 12. And that's it. All right. I'm gonna add this to my favorites real quick. That didn't go where I wanted it to go. Whatever. Okay, B. Let's do a quadratic. That has been translated left, I don't know, 18 and down 4. So try doing this with your groups. Hopefully you got quadratic. So again, y equals, should be thinking of the parent, which is just x squared. Because we're going left 18, left affects the inside, so y equals parentheses x. If it's left, it's going to be plus 18. Don't forget to close your parentheses and square it. That's a common mistake. And then in down 4, so on the outside we have a minus 4. And that is our final equation. Alright, last kind of example is graphing. This is what we practiced yesterday. So graph y equals the absolute value of x minus 2 plus 3. So what I recommend you do for these examples is first list your transformations. So we're translating. We got a minus 2 inside, so that means we're going to translate right 2, and then a plus 3 on the outside, so up 3. Now what I recommend doing is making a table. And you should always start with your parent. So because it's the absolute value, you've got negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Absolute value of negative 2, absolute value of 1, 0, 1, and 2. And now what we can do is extend and apply the transformations. So if we're going to go right 2, our x's will have a 2 added to them. And our y's are going up 3, so it'll be y's original plus 3. And then we apply it. So negative 2 plus 2, 0. Negative 1 plus 2, 1. 0 plus 2, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, and 2 plus 2 is 4. And then y is plus 3, so 2 plus 3, 5, 1 plus 3, 4, 0 plus 3, 3, 1 plus 3, 4, and 2 plus 3, 5. And then we're going to graph. So you've got 0, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4, 5. And then I don't have a ruler, so this is going to be terrible. Actually, I think I can use a tool. Oh man, still pretty bad. Okay, so then it's a absolute value. So your graph should look something like this, but hopefully a lot better. Okay, so I'm only going to do this example. If you need more help, then I would use your notes or each other. And you can work on your homework for the rest of the period. And whatever you don't finish is homework. So make sure you are productive. Have an awesome break, guys.